Men create gods after their own image, not only with regard to their form, but with regard to their mode of life. Aristotle. Here are 25 things you probably didn't know about Aztec gods. 25. Despite the fact that your average Joe doesn't know the names of more than a handful of Aztec gods, and even the ones he knows he has a very hard time spelling, the truth is that the pantheon of the Aztec civilization was enormous, with hundreds of gods and goddesses. 24. Most Aztec gods had two sides, good and evil, to their personalities, as well as two faces. 23. Over 2/3 of the Aztec gods were male, and less than 1/3 were female. 22. One sure thing concerning Aztec gods and the Aztec religion is that these required a lot of human sacrifices. Occurring in possibly greater numbers than in any other religion in history, these sacrifices were performed by Mexica priests at the pyramids of the sun and moon. 21. Xipe Totec was the god of suffering, diseases, and goldsmiths. The problem with this god was that his worship required the flaying of a slave and the wearing of his skin. Ouch. 20. Tlaloc was an Aztec water god who was widely worshipped as a giver of life and sustenance, but was also feared for his ability to send hail, thunder, and lightning, especially when someone pissed him off. 19. Chalchiuhtlicue was the Aztec goddess of rivers, lakes, streams, and other fresh water. She was in love with rain. And no, I'm not using that term metaphorically, since she was the wife of the rain god Tlaloc. 18. He might not be as famous as his European brother Ares, but trust me when I say, Camaxtli was as badass as the famous Greek god. He was the Aztec god of war, hunting, and fate, and creator of fire. He was also one of the 4 gods who created the world. 17. The main rite of the Tezcatlipoca's cult took place during the Toxcatl, the 5th ritual month. Every year at that time, the priest selected a young handsome prisoner of war. For 1 year, he lived in princely luxury, impersonating the god. 4 beautiful girls dressed as goddesses were chosen as his companions. On the appointed feast day, he climbed the steps of a small temple while breaking flutes he had played. At the top, he was sacrificed by the removal of his heart. So, Mola Ram from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom wasn't Steven Spielberg's pure creation after all. 16. Quetzalcoatl's mother, Chalchiuhtlicue, conceived him after having kept in her bosom a ball of hummingbird feathers that fell from the sky. Quetzalcoatl, who became the Aztec god of the obsidian knife, sprang forth from his mother's belly to kill his siblings before they killed him. Now that's brotherly love. 15. Quetzalcoatl's first shrine was built on the spot where Mexica priests found an eagle that was poised upon a rock while devouring a snake, an image so important to Mexican culture that it's portrayed on the national flag of Mexico. The eagle was seen as a representation of the sun god, Quetzalcoatl, and was very important to the Mexicas, who referred to themselves as the people of the sun. 14. Despite being one of the primordial gods and lord of life, Ometeotl was the only Aztec god for whom no temple was erected. This happened because the Aztecs saw him as remote in the heavens, and assumed he would never interact with them directly, but they were aware of his presence in every ritual act and in every rhythm of nature. 13. Chalchiuhtlicue was the patroness of erotic love, just like Aphrodite in Greek mythology. She was also the goddess of vegetation, artistry, and the protector of prostitutes. It was also believed that she was taken against her will to the underworld because she had eaten a forbidden fruit. Ring any bells? 12. Chalchiuhtliciue's twin, Xipe, was the god of flowers, maize, love, games, song, and dance. Now that I think about it, he could easily be the god of hippies. 11. Ometeotl is a name sometimes used to refer to the pair of Aztec gods Ometeotl and Ometeotl. They represented the primordial forces of nature and duality, and were considered the parents of many of the other major gods. Sometimes they're called husband and wife, but they were really considered two sides of the same dualistic god and were sometimes depicted as a half-man, half-woman figure. 10. Quetzalcoatl was a very important god. It was believed that he was the one who created humans. However, he wasn't the first to create them. According to Aztec mythology, the world had been created 4 times before and destroyed by infighting each time. Quetzalcoatl retrieved human bones from the underworld and added his blood to bring them to life. 9. They say that dog is man's best friend, but in Quetzalcoatl's case, it appears they are God's best friend too. With Tlaloc, a dog-headed god as his companion, Quetzalcoatl was said to have descended to the underground hell of Mictlan to gather the bones of the ancient dead. Those bones he anointed with his own blood, giving birth to the men who inhabit the present universe. 8. Quetzalcoatl was a warrior sun god who required blood sacrifice to help him win the battle against darkness and evil spirits. Fortunately for humans, this was not always in the form of human sacrifice, and sometimes just a little bloodletting was enough. 7. The Aztecs believed that Oxomoco and Xipe were the first human couple, and so they were for Aztec culture and religion what Adam and Eve are for Judaism and Christianity. Oxomoco was later upgraded to an Aztec deity, the goddess of night, astrology, and the calendar. 6. When the Spanish colonizers forced the locals to convert to Christianity, the Nahuas, who were pure descendants of the Aztecs, carried on worshipping their old sun god, Tonatiuh, in the form of Jesus, though very few still worship Tonatiuh today. 5. Every Aztec household had a little shrine to the oldest god of all, Xipe, the fire god. A typical celebration in his honor consisted of feasts and a time of ceasing hostilities. The Aztecs would cut out the hearts of human sacrifices, followed by burning them on coal. As a result, the people would regain his favor through his elements, fire and blood. 4. Tlaloc embodied all female spirits and the souls of women who died in childbirth. Childbirth was considered a form of battle in Aztec culture, and its victims were honored as fallen warriors. However, she and her army of female souls loved to haunt crossroads at night, stealing children and causing sicknesses, especially seizures and madness, and seducing men to engage in sexual misbehavior. 3. Despite there being a dispute between scholars who study Aztec culture, it seems as if Quetzalcoatl was the great god of the Aztecs. His worship fueled the battles and sacrifices of the people, and his temples were built in the hearts of cities. The Templo Mayor contained his temple, and his image was on Moctezuma's throne. 2. Many different cultures made up the empire, so their gods were frequently adopted and either added to the descriptions of existing gods or simply put into the Pantheon. 1. Aztec gods could die and be reborn more than once. For that matter, the gods would often sacrifice themselves to set the world in motion, but soon after would be reborn. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 2 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.